All right, we're on the next episode of Blood Money, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have Scott Lobaido on this show right now. And before I let Scott have his word, I got to tell you a little story. When this whole pandemic thing started, I knew there was fuckery amiss. I knew that I knew the whole thing was a fraud very early on. And what was very lonely at that time was that other people did not know this, and other people looked at you like you're a conspiracy theorist. Now we have people dropping dead left and right, and we know what's going on. These jabs were bad. This lockdown was bad. And what happened in my experience is that very early on, as I went, searching for people that had similar concerns as I did, is I found Scott Lobaido's videos. And I remember the first video, which was Scott on the streets, basically yelling at the camera, asking the viewer, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? How are you letting this tyranny take over our nation? How are you letting the shutdowns happen? And he was irate. And I got to tell you, like, that level of alpha male energy, I hadn't seen for a while. And I think it's, part of their master plan to make sure that the Scott Lobaidos of the world cease to exist, because that's exactly what we need. That made me feel like I had a compadre. That made me feel like others were also seeing through the bullshit. And I got to tell you, sir, I respect you so much. I haven't been this excited to have a guest for a while. And I put you there amongst the Dr. Peter McCulloughs, the Chris Skies of the world, people, and we've interviewed quite a few of them, people that very early on were calling the bullshit for what it was, bullshit. So how you doing, Scott?
I'm good.
Yeah.
It's I like to say this right off the bat. I'm not afraid to admit anything. I speak from the truth. In the beginning, I admit that I was afraid in the very beginning when the pandemic started. It was new to us. It was something new. I never got my vaccinations and nothing like that. But it was scary. It was a scary moment because we weren't sure. Nobody was telling us what the fuck was going on, and then after a little while, I remember they were like, because I like my cigarettes and my whiskey. And in the beginning, if you remember, they were like, if you smoke, you're going to be dead. Mm-hmm. And that hit me. I'm like, yeah, no, that's bullshit. I'm not a doctor, but that's bullshit. And it wound up, I had it once in the very, very beginning. I lost my taste for a couple of days, which was the worst thing for me because I'm Italian and I eat good food. I couldn't taste or smell anything, but that was it. But after that, a doctor's never going to tell me smoking and drinking is good for you. Yeah. But in my mind, a germ is not going to come into a clean body. I got nothing but tin cans, cigarette butts, bottle caps in my fucking stomach. Ain't no fucking virus, no bug. Mosquitoes don't even come near me. Honestly, I'll be with my girlfriend camping. She'll be chewed alive, and I'm just sitting there. They don't bother me because they know I'm poison. So what I'm saying is, I think being dirty helps your immune system. It's like, I'm not telling people to smoke and drink, but when you're dirty, when kids play in the dirt and stuff, it's good for their immune system. And now everybody gets so clean. That's when bugs come at you. That's what happened to Michael Jackson. He was too clean with mad, and the shit got him. Yeah. So that's how I think of it. But anyway, in the beginning, it was scary, and then all of a sudden it just clicks. You're like, all right, this is fucking bullshit now. They're shutting down this business, but across the street, they're not shutting down that business. Yeah. Home Depot's open, the supermarket is open, but my uncle's grandfather's little shop has to close. Yeah. This is bad, no good, not happening. Fuck this.
Man, you remind me of, I grew up with certain individuals, and you remind me of so many kids I knew growing up. And what's different about you, though, is I think life softened some of those folks. And you don't seem to have lost your edge, man. You stand up for what you believe in. And we're going to get into the art world and all that stuff in a sec, but you dig your feet into the ground. You don't put up with bullshit, No.
It's my parents' advice. I'm actually quite a liberal at heart when it comes to a lot of things. Animals, the environment to an extent, because we were brought up in the woods. We live in Staten Island. Yeah. And we grew up, my great-grandparents' house, we grew up in the woods, animals and climbing trees and nature. And, And even with helping people, less fortunate, whatever color, race, creed, gender, I'm there. I'm donating. I'm helping. Uh, so it was how I am. What it's in a nutshell is my mother's advice was, whatever you do in your heart, whatever you do in your life, as long as you believe it in your heart and take care of the less fortunates, even if it's a sick squirrel. And my dad's advice was, son, take shit from no fucking body.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm that yin yang.
You're
And
full
a lot of the
Italian,
left
right?
people, a lot of people on the left, they only see the hard ass. I don't take shit from anybody. They know I'm a compassionate giver of nature and people, helping out the homeless and so on. But they will never admit that, because there is no such thing in their mind as a compassionate, conservative patriot. And it
Yeah.
scares and pisses them the fuck off. And I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, and you know what it is? That's because they don't see shades of gray. This is the issue that I have with anybody, whether on the left, right, whatever, wherever they are, when they don't see the shades of gray. Like, they don't see how you could be liberal about some things and be conservative about other things. Like, they just want black and white. And I'm sorry. I mean, that just, firstly, that leads to, like, we've seen history where when people think that way, the shittiest art happens. And when the shittiest art happens, that's a barometer of a failed culture.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, again, they don't want to see that side. They know it's there, but they refuse. I am just that white supremacist, homophobic, racist. I'm not, that's all they see. And then
Mhm.
they know, and the people that know me, I have a lot of liberal friends and family members who understand me. They don't
Mhm.
like my politics on that side, but they know exactly who I am. My mother, again, my mother sent me and my three brothers to pretty much an all black school
Mhm.
purposely. We could have went to all the white school in our junior high school, but my mother wanted us not only to be cultured, to toughen up, and to also understand diversity. And
Yeah.
I say this all the time. If I was on that bus in 1963 and this white dude told Rosa Parks to sit in the back, I'd be in jail and that guy'd be in a hospital. That's a fact,
Dude,
because
this is what I
that's
fucking, bro, this is what I fucking love about you, man. Because I know you're that person. I know you're that person. And there's very few of that person. And it reminds me, there's a famous picture. I always reference this. It's like a big Nazi rally. Everybody's doing their Heil Hitler. And there's this one dude with his arms crossed. You know what I'm talking about, right?
no, 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 no.
Dude, that's you, bro. Look up that picture of the one dude amongst thousands of people doing the Heil Hitler. This one dude has his arms crossed, and he just has a look on his face, just like, go fuck yourself, Hitler. And that's you, bro. That's you. Any given time, I have full faith that we got a DeLorean time machine here. we go to anywhere in the past, you're going to be standing up for what's right at that time, and
It's
you're
funny
right.
that I appreciate your you know comments and your compliments and stuff, but it's I used to get excited and enjoy the accolades and stuff, but then I came, I'm a middle child. I like the attention. I'm an artist. Artists like the attention.
Mhm.
We have an ego to us, not cockiness or confidence. But I'm realizing now that I'm really nobody fucking special. There used to be so many of me. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
again, it's the pussification of a nation, the
Yeah.
emasculation of us. And it's like, how the fuck are we supposed? I'm not a tough guy. I'm just a fucking guy that sees what's
Yeah.
right and wrong. It's about common sense. The difference between me and a lot of other men, I think, is that they don't lack the chutzpah I have, the gall to say.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
that they're put in a pigeonhole where they're in a position where they can't say anything because of the oppression of their First Amendments. And I have nothing. I'm a fucking artist. I don't have anything to lose. I have
Hmm.
nothing to lose. And I say what the fuck these people want to say. So they put me on this pedestal, but I'm regular. I'm just this guy. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
just this guy. My artwork, maybe I'm a little better than some other people, but
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
what you call me, I'm not this great guy. I'm just that guy.
You're
That's
that
simple.
guy. You're that guy. I mean, you know what? In horrible times, those are the guys that rise up. You know what I mean? And that's why they stand out. So you're full Italian, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. I'm noticing that there's a number of these alpha types that are standing up against the tyranny. I won't name them; they know who they are. But you know, a lot of Italians in there for some reason. You know, really stands out that
It's a thing. It's Sicilian thing. It's don't take shit from anybody. That's my father's advice. My father, again, the door's open. You need help. You need to come in. You're across the street. Your grandmother's sick. We'll feed you, whatever. But if you come on my father's property to hurt what he worked for or his family, you are fucked.
You're digging your own grave, sir.
It's that simple. We're good people. We just don't fuck with us.
Don't fuck with us. Exactly, man. Exactly. And, you know, I see that when it's in your blood. You know, when you're saying Sicilians, I mean, we all know a little bit about Sicilian history and the fact that protection systems had to be created in order to protect families. And, you know, you look at these tyrants trying to tell us what to do, trying to talk down to us like we're their serfs. You're going to own nothing. You're going to be happy. I mean, your blood's got to boil when you hear that kind of shit.
Yes, because I know my people came from that. My great-grandfather, he moved to America. He went back to check on his property or to sell his property, and the war broke out, World War I. And Italy wanted him to fight against America. He said he was there for a couple of months in America, and he went back. He goes, no, I'm an American. Fuck this. And they put him in a holding, whatever facility till the war was over. And then he came back. So I got that, I got that in me, and it's like, it's about freedom, and what they sacrifice for. And I just had this conversation with somebody about, we got to pay the black community because they great grandfather was slaves and stuff. And, I'm never going to compare what happened with slavery. Again, I think if I was around back during slavery, I would have been one of those fucking white guys freeing these slaves as a human being. But my Sicilian ancestors, that was the biggest lynching in history. And New Orleans was Sicilians hung from the tree. Like the worst lynching was with Sicilians. And the moral of my story is like, look, I understand you went through hell, but it's 2023. Your opportunities are tremendous. I had issues, but we got past it. They hide that flag up. No matter how oppressed and humiliated and treated like rat shit they were when they came to America, that fucking flag was hanging up because they knew they would overcome that and just progress. And that's why people make fun of me all the time. It does not bother me. I get that whole greaseball, gangster, mafia, whatever. It doesn't, it rolls off me because I'm not a sensitive fucking pussy.
Exactly.
We're oversensitive. We become so fucking sensitive.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the thing with this myopic viewpoint of history. Yes, it's without a shadow of a doubt that slavery was, on the top 10 levels of greatest evils throughout history, right? We know that. But when you have a myopic point of view about history, just like you were saying, Sicilians were lynched, right? I come from Armenian ancestry. Like just a little bit more than 100 years ago, our 2/3 of our population was disseminated. My grandparents grew up as orphans. We were like how they say that N-word back in the, very racist times. We were that of the Ottoman Empire. They named our last names. We have slave last names based upon, are you a shoemaker? So you know how all the Armenian names have IN or YN at the end of it? They would basically take the name for shoemaker and add an IN or YN to mark you as an Armenian because you were an infidel. You were 2/3 human being. If a Muslim committed crimes against you, raped your daughter, stole them and took them to harems, you had no chance in court. And this happened for hundreds of years. And so that's where I come from. My dad was kidnapped by a terrorist group. That's where I come from. And so when people tell me, okay, I understand your pains, but like, come on, are we getting into this, like, who has the greatest, like, suffering in their history?
Exactly. I posted a couple of weeks ago or so about, California, Newsom wants to give, what do you call them?
Reparations.
Reparations. And I'm like, okay, I got a lot of Irish friends who were treated like shit, kept in cages when they came to New York. And we all want to.
Like less than 100 years ago.
Fuck you, pay me too.
Yeah.
Stop. Nobody gets paid. I'm going to stay on the subject.
Yeah.
Racism, because it's a scary word. Okay. And again, I know who I am, so I could say what the fuck I want, using reality.
Mm-hmm.
Racism is not it's created by the white liberal. It's pushed into that community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, into the black community. We know this. Malcolm X, everybody, if you haven't seen it, Google it. Malcolm X, 1965, I think it was, his speech on the white liberal and
Mm-hmm.
how evil they were and infiltrating the black movement. And you
Yeah.
saw this with Black Lives, how the white liberal is creating this, whether it's in the media or these progressive groups, they are
Yeah.
creating it. Racism is one of our most ugly, historical, important words in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And it is dissipating. Because they, meaning the left, they use that word like the word the. Every
Mm-hmm.
day, I'm a racist because I painted this flag, or because I said I hate the mayor who happens to be black. I don't hate the mayor because he's black. I hate the mayor because he sucks as a fucking mayor.
There you go. There you
But
go.
racism, they've abused this word.
Yeah.
They've humiliated this important historical word, and they just create this division. It's because I'm 58. I grew up in the 80s, and we hung out at all the bars. And there was the token black guy, the token Muslim, the token Jew, the token trans guy, and I was the token Guinea. And we all hung out in the bar, and we made fun of each other, and we loved each other. We had a fucking ball. And then this woke ass shit came slamming in and said, "No, Scott, I've been hanging out with you for 30 years. You're a racist. You like Trump. You like the flag. It's like, how the fuck? Let me finish. Let me continue. Liberalism is not what my mother's liberalism was. Okay. This liberalism today is fascism, as we know, because back in the day, liberals were hippies. They had the beads on, the peace sign. They stunk, long hair, smoked a joint, put a flower in a rifle, loved all sorts of art.
Yeah.
Liberals today, violent, take down all the art, suppress freedom of speech. It's opposite. And all of these liberals that say, let the illegal immigrants in, let them live somewhere. My mother's door was open. Every Thanksgiving, every holiday, she sent us 3 boys down to the local bar or to the bus stop to pick up a homeless person, a sad old man in a bar to bring to our house. These liberals today, let everybody in. Take them in your fucking house. None of them. You will see none of them.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yep. Totally, man. Totally. I mean, it is division. And, having grown up, I mean, in the 80s, 90s, I mean, this stuff was really more like the racism that existed was more on a governmental level, a media level. It wasn't like us hanging out at the bars and stuff.
100%.
It was like, okay, like the government puts like 3 strike laws. So like black dudes that are selling marijuana go to jail for 20 years. And now we're like massive businesses, conglomerates, marijuana businesses, right? While there's still, by the way, black people that are under these 3 strike laws in jail still, right?
Sadly and wrongly so. Yep.
Yeah. Did they do anything to like clean up the crap that was happening in certain neighborhoods? I mean, did they aggravate that situation? It's like, and then through the movies, it's like I remember watching movies and being like, these are like flat out like racist things that they're putting forth through Hollywood. And this is the thing that you kind of see, like when they want you to hate Muslims, they put out that kind of movie. When they want you to hate like white people because of wokeism, they put out that kind of movie. When they want you to be racist towards black people, they put out that kind of movie, and I don't know, it's like, it's sad because
it's deep. We could go deep in it, but I just look at the generic aspect. I am not a scholar. I am not a well-educated man. I've traveled this country 3 times over in the last 20 years, in one sitting, 10 months at a time, in my truck, living off the land, living with people, eating with people, every walk of life, painting my flags and learning. I don't think there's anybody that knows the people of this country more than me and some of the basic social issues. And it saddens me that it turned, and one group turned this, the left, the radical progressive left, turned this into a fucking race war, a bigoted war, a separation of classes, when it was, I mean, of course we had our shit. Listen, you said it earlier about your heritage, what happened to your people and my people and this. Humanity, it is the nature of humanity. There will always be racists,
Mhm.
homophobes, bigots. Always. That is the nature of our species, but it
Mhm.
is not systemic. And to see people in the media continuously say it's systemic and we're all racist. I paint the flag, I'm a racist. It's a racist image. I voted
Mhm.
for Trump. Trump's a racist. No proof. That means I'm a racist, and
Mhm.
so on. And
Yeah.
it's
Black and white
heartbreaking.
thinking. Yeah. By the way, one thing I wanted to mention, you had mentioned this idea of friends turning against you that you've known for 30 years. Same thing, same thing. You know, friend because of, I don't know, this woke culture, who I've known, we've all had literally the exact same opportunities. You could almost like, you know, point for point, be like, you guys did equally well doing what you do. Woke culture, all of a sudden, anybody that votes for Trump is crazy. So let's talk about your art, Scott. For that, I think we should roll this 3-minute long video, which I think will bring up the viewer up to speed as far as your journeys and what got you to this point that you do what you do.
11-month-old girl shot in the face because of woke, criminal-loving district attorneys. Come on, murderer. This is a street performance.
Seems like all the artist activists are on the left. Ah, except for Scott Lobaido.
I do not conform to the elitist isms of the art clubs, and they have left me like a redheaded stepchild. This is my medium in which I shall create, and this is my canvas, the front of the Brooklyn Museum.
The first most important thing in school or anywhere else is the Pledge of Allegiance.
This is not a pro-war protest. This has to do with the increasing level of anti-Americanism.
They don't keep the criminals in jail. They're not going to keep you in jail.
This line is to show respect and honor to those who died, got shot in the fucking head, protecting us. You try to take that fucking blue line down. I'll paint it till the day I die.
When the towers came down, there was absolutely no doubt that feeling, it was going to change my life. And it did.
When somebody's complaining, it's so cold out, you know, the traffic. And here I am, drinking with one of these guys who's got one arm, he's got a hook for another arm, and he's drinking a fucking beer, having a laugh with me, and he's not bitching about nothing.
I present to you the recipient of this year's VFW Americanism Award, Mr. Scott Lobaido.
That's it. I'm gonna paint a flag on a rooftop in every state near a military base.
As a veteran, we all fought for that flag in World War II. And today, we want to see it flying.
They will never, as long as I am alive, they will never take the American flag down. You want to burn one? Then I will find out where you work, and I will find a building across the street and paint a flag 50 by 100, so you have to see it every fucking day.
A pro-Trump sign on the front lawn of his Staten Island home was burned to the ground.
The hate I get is astronomical. If everybody liked me, I'd be doing something wrong. My mother's advice, whatever you do with your life, as long as you believe it in your heart, and always take care of those less fortunate. My father's advice was, son, take from nobody. This is about control and division.
We must unite. We must take a stand. Are you ready? Live, right, live.
God didn't give me a gun and a bayonet. He gave me paint and brush, and I will fight to the fucking death for this country.
Get on up, get on up, get on up, right, live.
So Scott, I mean, you were going into the art world with these expectations that kind of didn't turn out to be true. Tell us about that journey, and give us a little timeline as far as what got you here.
Yeah, it's every artist's dream is to find their calling, and most of us it takes forever. Sometimes it takes to the end of your life, and then you find it. George O'Keeffe found hers. That great artist, George O'Keeffe, found hers. She was in her 70s. And you never think that it's coming when you're that young. And this was back I've been an artist my whole life. So back in the 90s, I went to go find myself in the big city of Manhattan, New York City. It's the center of the universe. if you can make it there, blah, blah, blah. This is the center of the art world. And I went in, and this is back in the early 90s, and I saw, it just broke my heart. Again, people that don't know Staten Island is one of the 5 boroughs of New York City, the biggest liberal city, one of them in the country. But Staten Island is like any other little town in Wyoming, West Virginia. It's working people. It's cops, firemen, sanitation, EMTs. You know, it's these working people, veterans, military. So it's such an outsider of Staten Island. The city always abuses the hell out of us because we are these uneducated, primitive ogres, as they like to call us. But that's how I learned my heart and my patriotism and my love for the country. And I saw these creative people just desecrating the flag, and just America is an oppressive nation, and you know, it's a jingoist symbol, and it's like, you know, and I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, we creative people have more rights than anybody. We get to test the boundaries of the First Amendment more than any fucking body because of that flag and the blood sacrificed for me, so I could be a crazy fucking nutball who wants to paint and say whatever I want. And I would think every artist would be sucking ass of this milk and honey that they have. And and here they are. And it just blew my mind that they said, this is fucking ridiculous. They're biting the hand that feeds them. And we should be more patriotic than anybody else in the country because we get that fucking gift.
You saw this, by the way.
I'm not going there.
In the 90s? This was 90s time or
90s? This was the early 90s.
I'm just trying to get a time, or early 90s. Wow.
Early
so I mean,
90s.
Early on, you're seeing kind of essentially.
And that's where I saw, you know, that's where my calling. I said, wait a minute. I'm going to paint this flag. I'm going to bring this flag back to life. I'm going to promote and celebrate America, the men and women underneath it who created this. And the greatest work of art in my eyes is the Star-Spangled Banner. I've been to the Louvre, Don Paris. I flirted face to face with Mona Lisa. You know, these are the masters you learn about. I saw the Sistine Chapel, I gazed in awe. I touched the statue of David when I was in Florence. And I touched the brushstrokes of a Van Gogh at the MoMA years ago when they didn't have the thing over it. But the greatest work of art to me is the Star-Spangled Banner. It is a work of art. We don't see it as a work of art, as a creation for one of the greatest concepts, in the history of civilization, America, freedom. You know, the French flag is beautiful. The German flag is beautiful. The Japanese flag is beautiful. But those flags represent those individuals. They represent the Chinese and America is the only flag that represents every motherfucker across every corner of this beautiful sphere in the sky. It's every ethnicity, every organic culture this flag represents. So when I get criticized that, you know, you're saluting and you're promoting a jingoistic, nationalistic Nazi symbol, fuck you. There ain't nothing like this flag. Nothing. So I celebrate it. I'm not a genius. I'm not a great master. My job, my calling was to use my gift to celebrate and promote the greatest place on earth. And the greatest symbol of that place on earth, our American flag.
I mean, this is the shades of gray they don't see. I mean, because look, has the United States done things that are questionable,
100%,
immoral? 100%, right? 100%. We all know about it. And frankly, if you watch Blood Money, I mean, we talk about it all the time, right? All the time, because part of our passion for this nation, for this flag, is making sure that the corruption and bullshit is gone. So the true purpose of the Constitution, which is being violated, I mean, raped on a daily basis across our courts, across every faction of our government, like, well, that's what we're fighting for. That's what our passion for the flag means, right? And so there's no shades of gray. They don't get it. Like, I mean, it's so black and white to them.
You know, I do put a lot of blame on, I give tough love. I put a lot of blame on us who again, I not only in the 90s did I find my creative calling to do this stuff, but I also noticed that's where I noticed political correctness and wokeism and cancel culture popping up its
Yeah.
ugly head,
Yeah.
the little teeth on this thing.
Mhm.
And that's when I started. And if you saw that trailer for my documentary, the documentary is about that.
Yeah.
Not only how I started my art career, my patriotism, my activism is that I saw this and I said, this is bad. This is going to get big and down the road. And if we don't pay attention to it and nip it in the butt, it's going to fucking be the size of Godzilla and it's going to fuck up this country.
Mhm.
And I warn people, not intellectually, but through my art and my activism, my provocative activism, to say, this is wrong. Look at this. Why are you getting arrested, Scott? Because I'm bringing attention to this travesty that the Pledge of Allegiance is not being said in a public school, which it is a law. It's a mandate. But yet some liberal fucking woke asshole compared it to the teachings of Taliban. 2 months after 9/11, I got to go up there and do something about it. So that's also my journey, was to kind of warn people, not being a prophet, but just something that I saw, as I guess as an artist and a patriot. And here we are back to blaming us because we let it fucking happen. We let it happen. We watched it happen. And people just pushed it aside and said, Scott, you're just a conspiracy nutball trying to get on the front page. We're getting handcuffs. And now people are like, sorry, I didn't listen to you. But I'm on board now. I'm on board now.
Yeah.
Late to the game, but they're still in the game, so we still have time.
Yeah.
But I give tough love. I do.
Yeah. I mean, people don't understand that this has been, woke people are so blind to the fact that I know at the end of the day, they're trying to do the right thing. But what they don't understand is that the right thing has been fought like for years now, for decades, and they got it all wrong because they don't even have the history right. They think, oh, we just discovered there's racial issues and past generations never thought about that. I mean, I kind of see that, yes, some of these people might have positive intentions, but their agenda is based upon complete ignorance to what's come before them, it kind of, I knew a lot of people that were warning me about this stuff a long time ago. And it's funny how those people were called crazy conspiracy theorists. And what they were saying all along in the 80s, 90s really, has come to fruition today. We're pretty much at the cusp of losing all our freedoms. End of the story.
It's sad that I kind of feel good that I was finally right. I made major sacrifices financially as an artist because I saw something that was bigger and it was in my fucking heart. You know how easy it is to just succumb to the isms of the art world, the hypocritical bullshit fucking art world, and become the rich, famous artist. I had that opportunity.
And by the way, that you could say about everything. You could say that about journalism. You could say about the legal world. Most people take the path of least resistance, even when they're faced with tyranny and corruption.
That's going to be on my tombstone. Easy is for pussies.
There you go.
True. It's and it's like, and people ask me like, well, how do we fix it? How do we fix it? I think that the left has to finally realize, the woke left has to finally realize, and I know I'm seeing some of them realize it and coming out of the closet and saying, I fucked up. And it's nice, and it really feels good is what I'm saying. It's sad that I have to have this good feeling because I don't want us to be in this position. But, making that 30-year sacrifice and being locked up and being beaten up and having my property destroyed, it's a good feeling that, hey, fuck you, I was right. But again, back to it's how do we fix it? There's only one way to fix it, and that is that the radical woke left has to pull their reins back. They have to. That's it, because they took it to the moon. I always say that we're excuse me, it's a balance. In the 70s, 60s, 70s, we were very liberal, but you could always see my hand here. You could see the other hand. And in the 80s, we got a little more conservative, and that's how it rolls. And we go here. But the fucking radicals took it to the fucking stratosphere. And they finally woke up that sleeping giant. Everybody uses that, but they woke up middle America. And I told you, I've been through every state many times. I know these people. These people don't want to be bothered. They don't care who you're sleeping with, but you're putting Eight-foot burly fucking hairy dude can go take a piss in the bathroom that this the coal miner's daughter goes, 6-year-old daughter goes to take a piss in. Not fucking happening. Not fucking happening anymore. And so on and so on. So it's gonna get ugly if they don't pull those fucking reins back, because middle America is not going back to fucking sleep. They are on an endless flow of fucking Ambien. Trust me.
So tell me, let's talk about future prediction. Let's do a little future prediction here. Choose our adventure, right? Give me a couple of options of what happens, worst case scenario, best case scenario. And what's realistic ultimately?
I'm always the optimist. Because I truly feel optimistic. And especially at this point, as bad as it is, and I got to slap some of my friends around. Don't give me this shit. It's over. Wake the fuck up and start doing something. I know your kids go to that fucking school that they're teaching fucking drag queens. God bless the drag queens. I've been to drag queen shows. Adult fucking entertainment.
Yeah,
not my cup of tea, but it's adult entertainment.
Yeah.
But when these drag queens are teaching, or your teacher is teaching your 6-year-old kid about sex, when you would slit a fucking hobo's throat, if a hobo came on the subway and walked up to your kid while you were there and started teaching him about sex, you'd slit his throat. But yet you won't get your ass in front of the fucking Board of Education when they have a fucking meeting and say anything. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Tough love again.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
But I'm worried about, again, the fucking weakness, this beta bullshit that China is laughing the fuck out of us because they want to take us over. And Russia they're a little more behind, but it's just, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of that, but we still have a chance to fucking take it back. We're 25th in education, and China, they teach these fucking kids, that's it, strict, this is what you learn, that's it. No, we're too busy teaching them about sex. And that black kid over there next to you, he's special because his great-granddaddy was a slave. This kid doesn't understand this. This kid is taught by his parents. Learn what you need to learn in fucking school so we could smarten these kids up and become a society. Look at this fucking generation. Not all of them, but this younger generation that have blossomed from that element. They're lost. They're suicide rate is astronomical because they're confused.
They're lazy, bro. They're lazy. We hire people, and it's like, I don't know, man. They really did not teach this generation the values that you and I grew up with.
Right. We don't want to be those old people. Like, I'm not that guy. I understand. Look, I was an artist. Everybody thinks I was, a saint when I was a kid. I drove my parents crazy because I was a crazy fucking artist. I did some things I shouldn't do. It's part of our lives. But I always had respect at a certain point and discipline when it was needed. My father never had to touch me with his big, thick Sicilian hands after he picked up your garbage 12 hours a day as a sanitation worker, and us little assholes are running around. All he had to do is lift the hand, and we saw the shadow cast upon us, and we behaved. There was discipline. We were punished for 2 weeks. We couldn't go out if we failed in school. But wow. I did the thing. I did my extracurricular activities and my tests of the chemical things that we had, and drinking and chasing women and driving fast. But you come through that, then you become part of society. But these kids, some of them, I don't want to be that old man. These kids today, get off my fucking lawn.
Yeah.
Just that it's sad that it's so obvious that there's so many of them that have just become mushad, as we say.
Yeah. I mean, it's different because, look, I used to hear that story, when I was a kid, I, used to walk 8 miles a day. I mean, we've heard that story over and over again, but I got to tell you, man, this is different because at least the thing that you and I heard is hard work. That was a thing that I felt like was in schools. Like it was, definitely the parents, definitely, family, definitely friends, hard work. And that's not what they're told now. They think that being lazy and expecting something in return, I mean, they just don't have the foundation, I don't think.
Right. It's, the whole trophyism thing. And it's also, I like to bitch about, again, people that, why are you a Republican and not a Democrat? You're an artist. There's many reasons, but one of my favorite reasons is because you know, if you look at the minority community and how, you know, in my community, there's you know, an area that's, you know, a little poorer, projects areas, and you see the same generation there for 4 generations, 5 generations.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, because the Democrats say, stay there, here you go, just enough, here you go. And the difference between a Democrat and a Republican, in my opinion, is that the Republican says, here you go, here you go. It's a year now. You're 22, you're in better shape than Scott Lobaido, and he's in good shape at 58. Fuck you, get a job.
No.
The key word is incentive. They don't teach them incentive. I don't care if you want to open up a fucking hot dog stand or you want to become an astronaut. To just do something for yourself, to have some kind of integrity, incentive, to work for something. You know, that's what I was taught. You know, and again, people say, well, you're an artist. You lived a life. I busted my ass. I did every job you can have, making pizza. Italian in Staten Island. I had to do 2 years mandatory of concrete work. You know,
wow.
Best work of my life. But then I decided this is what I'm doing. You know, tough struggle, whatever. I struggle, but there's no incentive. You know, whether it's from the families, you know, that are a little looser. Again, being liberal. You know, my mother was like, "Do what you want." My father was like, "Da, da, da, da." And it was a perfect balance. You know, lacking that in families. You know, but incentive, and that's the number one reason. It's like, you got it. We are here to help you. Even across, you know, as an American, we are here to help you. You want to come here? You come the way everybody comes. We'll help you get on your way. We're good people. But that's it. After fucking a year, 2 years, unless you're, you know, invalid or, you know, mentally challenged, obviously. But you're a fit. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and bitch like these immigrants, these illegal immigrants did when they put them up in a 4-star hotel in Manhattan. They didn't like the fucking food. They didn't like that they were moving to another cool place. They were rioting. They destroyed the fucking hotel. Wow. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Scott, brother, Scott, it's such a great pleasure to have you on this show. Is there anything you want to talk about, rant about in closing? Is there something you want to tell the viewers? I mean, the mic is yours. Whatever message you have for the folks out there.
First of all, my documentary, that trailer you saw, that'll be out. It's right now in the hands of a distributor, because, you know, Hollywood ain't going to touch a conservative artist movie, but it is really spectacular. It's full of a lot of energy, and it's a battle cry movie. You know, yeah, it's about me, but it's not about me. It's me being the representative to teach you and like why we should be fighting. You know, you don't have to get violent. You don't have to throw paint, or you don't have to paint giant flags like I do, but there's so much that you can do to not be afraid. People, stop being afraid of what people are going to call you. That's a number one issue I see a lot. I don't want to be called a racist. Well, you're not a racist. Well, I don't want to call a homophobe. You're not. This is what they do. And fear not what they call you, especially when you're not that. So people got to get over that. So the movie will be out in hopefully the summertime. It's in the hands of a distributor, but you got to see it. We'll let you know. You'll know. Believe me, I'll let you know. But one more thing is my post today, my rant today was in regards to infighting amongst us conservatives and Republicans, and how I've watched the last couple of elections, and how these newbies that come in, which is great to have younger people come into our Republican conservative value ideology. But it's like you can't watch 1-2 football games and think you know everything about the sport. It takes years to understand, especially this game. So when I see young folks saying, "Oh, I don't like you, Scott or Joe, because even though you're a fellow Republican, because you didn't pick the same guy in the primary as I did," that is disgusting. It's embarrassing. Once that primary ends, we go back up that person. That's what pisses me off lately. So play the game. Look, I'm not always right, even though I'm 30 years seasoned in this game. I'm not always right. I'm not, you know, I don't know everything, but you got to stop that bullshit. Come on board, but play the game. We're all in this together, because if we get fighting, we're going to fucking lose. We're going to fucking lose.
Yep. And one thing I just wanted to say, just like, you know, taking off from what you were saying about people not being scared out there, I got to tell you, I was frankly, in the closet about my beliefs for a really long time. And I'm talking about, I started realizing stuff in the early 2000s, not as early as you. And I would kind of have this dual life where I was working in mainstream media, but at the same time, doing a lot of things like going to, marches, rallies, and really being in the know as far as what the authoritarianism that was coming in. And I got to tell you, once I actually had the courage to go out there and start talking about this stuff, well, firstly, let me tell you, I've been called a right-wing extremist. I've been called a cyber bully for using my freedom of speech and actually making documentaries and a lot of other things. But I've also met some of the most amazing people that have enriched my life in ways that my life was never enriched before. Because people like you, for example, people like the people I work with on a day, the people that produce this, I wouldn't have met those people. And we're all getting called the same names, by the way. So eventually what happens is all the people being called these names that are based on BS all kind of become friends. And there is truly powerful relationships and enriching relationships, the likes of which I've never felt before. And I'm thankful for that. So that's a silver lining in terms of having the courage.
You feel it.
You feel it,
I call
brother.
it the patriotic fever. It is a fever. It is a disease that once you get it, there is no fucking cure for it. There is no vaccine, and it is beautiful. It is the most, I love it. And no matter what comes at me, I will never take a vaccine if they invented one to cure my patriotic fever.
Exactly, brother. Exactly. Brother, much love to you. Seriously, this was a really awesome experience. I mean, we are so happy that we got you on this show. Thank you for taking the time, and we'd love to, do follow-ups in the future and kind of check in with you.
Yeah, I'll get back on. Again, we had a little technical. Again, I could paint the Sistine Chapel on the head of a pin, but ask me to plug in a computer. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah, we were supposed
to. You go to my website, you could see a lot of my stuff, scottlobaido.com. You can see the trailer for the movie and a bunch of other cool stuff. Keep in touch, contact me, say hello, and follow me on Instagram. I rant every fucking day after you watch this show.
Definitely. We'll have all your information below in the descriptions. And thank you so much, brother. This was really awesome. And we will hopefully catch up with you real soon.
100%, brother.
Awesome. And for the viewer, check out americahappens.com, where our episodes are posted on a daily basis. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Blood Money.